Hi guys, thanks so much for watching. So this is just going to be a tips and tricks video. I thought I would share with you guys a lot of the tips and tricks that I have learned over the last few years of wearing makeup and styling my hair. And a lot of these things have helped me out so much and they're so simple. So if you'd like to see what they are, then just keep watching. So my very first tip is about primers. I'm going to just put in a picture here of a lot of my favorite primers, but primers are so important. When I was in high school, I didn't even know what a primer was, and now I just feel so bad for my high school self because I would wear foundation all the time without a primer. And first of all, if you don't wear a primer and you wear foundation, it's just going to wipe off. It sits into your skin and makes your pores just look so much larger than they are, and primers are basically to hide your pores, to hide redness, to hide so many things. They just basically create a canvas for your makeup, so that way all of your makeup is essentially sitting on a primer and not seeping into your skin nearly as fast as it does if you don't have a primer on. I definitely tend to get shiny throughout the day, so typically I wear primers for shiny skin and it keeps shine away way longer. So I definitely recommend a primer. Even if you are not going to be wearing any makeup, it's going to make your skin just look way better, so wear primers. So my next tip is about applying foundation, whether it's a stippling brush or a beauty blender like this filthy one. This is the one that I use every day, so it definitely has foundation all over it, but beauty blenders are my favorite way to apply foundation. Or if you don't want to do that, then you can do a stippling brush. I just recommend not applying foundation with your fingers. First of all, it's really messy, but it's just bad to apply makeup with your hands. There's way more bacteria on your fingers than there are on stippling brushes and just all of those kinds of things, so I definitely recommend trying something like that instead of your fingers. So my next tip is to set your makeup. This is Fix Plus by MAC, but Skindinavia is my favorite. That one's kind of expensive, but there are a lot of setting sprays out there, and I definitely recommend trying one if you haven't already. Setting sprays basically just keep everything in place so that your makeup isn't going to fall and smear around, and then it's just going to stay on your face. If you spend all this time putting on the makeup, then you want it to stay on, and I definitely invest in the products I put on my face, and I'm sure a lot of you do too, so I want them to stay there, so I definitely recommend setting your makeup. And my next tip is something that used to frustrate me so bad. I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out, but if you apply mascara and you get some onto your eyelid and you have, your eyeshadow on, you spent time on it, it's so frustrating. Do not just try and wipe it off right away with your finger. I used to do that all the time, and it's wet, it's mascara, it has to set and dry. So just let it set and dry. I know it looks awful and it's going to drive you crazy, but then just very lightly blend it away. That is something that took me so long to figure out. I don't know why, but hopefully that will help someone out there. Just let it set and dry, and then just very slowly, very lightly blend it away. I have had that work with almost every single mascara I've ever tried, but if you just wipe it right away, you pretty much ruined everything that you just put on. So that definitely is a tip that should help a lot of people out there. So my next tip has to do with blush, and that is to apply it 1.5 to 2 fingers away from the nose. A lot of people tend to apply it pretty close to their nose, and it's just going to look like you have redness around here, because that is very common. I know if I don't have foundation on, it's going to be a little red right here. So 1.5 to 2 fingers, just depending on the size of your face. For me, it's about 1.5 instead of 2 full fingers, because then it's way over here. But just kind of keep that in mind, especially when applying the blush, because it's something we just kind of do and don't really think about it, but just kind of think about staying away from right here, and then it's going to look a lot better. My next tip is to have a light hand. I used to be so heavy and rough on my face when applying foundation and blush and bronzer and whatever, but have a light hand, because number one, it's going to look so much better, whether it's your eyeshadow, your bronzer, whatever, but also it's going to blend so much faster. I always remind myself to hold a brush farther down instead of really close up. You have all of this room, and that's just so your hand is farther away, because the farther away it is, the lighter that your hand is going to be, and eyeshadows are going to blend so much better. I heard that tip probably a year or 2 ago, and it has helped me out so much because my eyeshadows look so much better. I definitely apply all of my makeup so much faster, and it just all seems like way more flawless. It blends together way better because, and it's all about just like how you hold a brush. If you're super close up, it's going to be way too like hard and heavy. Farther away, it's going to be way lighter, and everything is just going to look so much better, I promise you. My next tip is to set your eyebrows. Whether you fill them in or not, if we, you know, like wipe a hair away from our face or whatever, the hairs are going to move, and every once in a while we all just like push our hairs and our eyebrows in like the most weird direction, and it looks crazy. So I definitely recommend setting your eyebrows. This is just a Milani brow gel that I've talked about, I think in like a haul or something, but you can actually even buy like clear mascara from the drugstore. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it, but whether you fill them in or not, I definitely recommend just at least setting them. My next tip is also about curling your hair, and a lot of people ask me how I get these to stay, because these will stay in my hair for 2-3 days, like for a while, and the only thing that I do is, first of all, I curl with a wand, which doesn't really matter for this like topic, but I hold it when it's hot for just a few seconds, and if your hair really won't stay, I definitely pin it up for a few minutes, but all I do is just like once it falls, I just hold it because it's still hot and it's still setting. So if your hair has a hard time holding these curls, then if you just like drop it and it's still hot, it's going to set way like smoother than if you hold it up, and it's going to stay way more like spirally. So hopefully that will help you guys. It definitely helps me just have these stay for a few days instead of one day. So yeah, so those are all my tips and tricks for today. I really hope that one of these tips has helped you. Let me know in the comments if you try any of these out and how it works for you, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!